Gratitude. Thank you for joining Chats Along the Path with discussions about the 7 transformative practices of the 7-Way Path. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing, inviting you to heal, grow, and transform with the 7-Way Path. Thank you for walking the path, and best wishes for your journey. Nature. Welcome to this chat along the path. In this chat, we are featuring Julie Almond. Julie is a certified holistic wellness coach and Reiki practitioner in Buffalo, New York. She is the creator of the In the Zone daily journal of gratitude, goals, affirmations, and habit tracking. She is passionate about wellness and loves helping others live the life they dream of. And she is here to chat with us about journaling. Welcome, Julie. Such an honor to have you chat along the path.
Well, thank you so much. I am so honored to be here.
Wonderful. So, Julie, please tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get into talking about your journaling practice.
Yeah, a little in a nutshell, small joke there as Julie Almond. I am a mother of 2, and like you said, a holistic wellness coach and Reiki practitioner. But it's taken me many, many years and wandering through different paths to get here. So, previously I was actually a collegiate and professional volleyball player and a collegiate volleyball coach. After that, I worked for a few years in a quick casual food service establishment. And then I actually owned my own wedding and birthday cake home bakery, which was so much fun. And then after that, I went back to the corporate world and was a general manager of another establishment. So through all that, lots of different paths and learning, and personally went through a divorce, went through the death of my sister. So, some really, really amazing things, and then some really hard things too. But through the course of all that, one of the things that was really supportive for me was journaling. And so now over the past few years, and my gosh, we've all had some really hard times and trying times with the global pandemic happening. So that's something that I came back to journaling and really used it again to help me get through some really tricky times, and then a transition, another big transition in my life, leaving the corporate world and starting my own practice.
Wow, Julie, so you have such an interesting and varied background. Thanks for sharing that with us. It sounds really fascinating. And it sounds like through all of it that journaling has been really a constant. And so with all of the different things that you've done, one thing that you have consistently done is journaling. Can you tell us about the evolution of your journaling practice?
Yeah, I would love to. I think that, we all start out, those of us who do journal, start young, and it's just kind of like a dear diary, right? And a notebook, or which is even more exciting, you can get the fancy diaries that they have with a little lock on them and a key. And that's just so exciting for us as kids to have those special places to record our thoughts and memories, just like the daily memories. I always love going back and reading stuff that I wrote, 20, 30 years ago. It's crazy. But, we grew up and I am a stationery addict, like I'm sure many people are, but, the office supply store is my candy store. So fun pens and fun notebooks. And that's really what it was for a long time. And more recently, I've been trying to make it more of a routine and to create a habit. And as a busy mom, trying to get the kids to school, trying to get myself to work and meeting all those demands, I was just struggling to find the time to sit down and really be able to pour my heart out. So what worked better for me was quick gratitude and because that's been such a huge important practice for me, recognizing all those good things that are happening in my life, even, among the tougher things. And then affirmations were something that was really supportive for me too. Uh, I tried probably 3 different journals that were kind of gratitude journals, and nothing really suited my needs. Like nothing was perfect, and I ended up just going back to the notebook and then writing the headings. I do gratitude, goals, and affirmations. So I'd write those headings and do 1 through 5 for each of those things. And then the habit tracker evolved onto that for me, where it was just things that I wanted to make sure I was doing every day. I wanted to make sure I was getting movement in every day. I wanted to make sure I was drinking water, taking my vitamins, because again, in the hustle and bustle of daily lives, when sometimes me as a mom especially, I'm more worried about taking care of other people, and I forget to do those things for myself, or I just don't prioritize it. So being able to write down every day those things that I wanted to make sure I was doing for myself and check them off, that's just a big motivator for me and a great reminder. And I learned throughout all of this, the process that I've gone through, that checking off the boxes are actually a reward system for me. So I reward myself by being able to check the things off when I've done it. And journaling is on my list every day, which is funny because I've literally already just journaled everything. So it's like instant gratification. I get to check that box right away. But yeah, so I was doing it in a notebook every day, and I had started coming up with an idea for a journal for athletes, because I coach middle school boys volleyball, and I was just in that it was the beginning of the season. I was just thinking, like, what would be supportive for other athletes and other players in the club that I was with, for just really trying to set goals and reach goals. And so I had started that. And then as I was journaling the one day, I was like, wait, why don't I turn this into a journal that would be super easy? Because the easier things are, especially for me, this might not be true for everyone, but the easier it is, the more likely I am to do it. So I think it was all in one day. I just kind of spent 5 or 6 hours online, formatting, uploading, creating cover, getting the ISBN number, all that stuff. I just was in just like a really focused flurry of activity for one day. And that's how the In the Zone daily journal was created. I just took what I was doing every day and was working for me every day, and made it in a form that I could, use for my coaching clients, use for anybody that it would find it supportive. And my goodness, just the 2 minutes that it saves me, having the headings already there and the lines already there for me to write on. I don't have to take those extra 2 minutes. I can just open it up and go. And and it's a daily-ish habit, right? It's not perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for what's supportive of me. So for today, for example, was my kid's first day of school. It was a little hectic. We're out of our normal routine. We're getting back into a new routine. So did I journal this morning? Nope. I was more focused on waking up and making sure they had everything they need. But will I later today, will I take that time for myself? Yeah, because it was so busy this morning and it was kind of hectic. I want that time later. I want that, 10 or 15 minutes just to sit and relax and think about how grateful I am that I got to walk my son to his first day of high school. And, how grateful I am that I got to see my daughter march into school so ready for her first day, right? So I will take that time for myself because it is so important for my wellness and for my mental health to do that for myself.
Wow, that's great, Julie. You hit on so much good stuff there that I'd love to dig deeper into. And I really, I have to say that as you were talking about, journaling as a young person and your love of stationery, you brought up for me a memory of me having a little diary when I was a little kid, like 10 years old. I had one of those locked diaries. Yeah, I actually, that was a memory that, I don't, when I think about journaling, I started journaling when I was 21. 21 is when I started journaling. And, I never ever remember or think that, oh, yeah, I had that one diary when I was 10 years old, with the little lock on it. So thanks for that memory, Julie.
Oh, that's great. We all had those.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. So Julie, talk to me a little bit more about why these specific practices for your in the zone daily journal. So why gratitude? Why goals? Why affirmations? Why habit tracking? And how did you choose those things as the things? I know you said that you were, already doing them, but why?
Yeah, great questions. So, why gratitude? That actually, I learned about it through a program that we had at work once, and I wasn't doing anything like gratitude checking. And I typically considered myself a really upbeat, positive person, um, and I didn't really see the need for it. I was like, oh, okay, maybe that works for somebody. I don't need that. Um, and then everything went downhill and COVID hit, right? And it was really, really hard to stay positive and just getting through every day, being exhausted, just dealing with more and more stressors. So finding those little moments of joy and recording those and being able to look back on those, um, it creates a snowball effect because once you know that that you're planning on the next morning writing down 5 things that have happened throughout, the day that you're grateful for, you start to notice them more as you go through your day. And so even still, I'll be like, oh, I want to make sure I write that down tomorrow. Like for me, dropping the kids off at school today, I'm paying attention to that and in that moment being mindful of the joy that I'm experiencing in that moment. And the more that you recognize those moments, the more you continue to recognize them and the better you feel. So I think that gratitude is a really powerful thing. And whether you're in a really great spot in your life or whether you're really struggling, if you have the habit, you're creating that habit and you have that strong, muscle memory essentially for looking for the good things, then you're just naturally going to see more good things and you're just going to kind of vibrate at that higher frequency. So that's where the gratitude comes from. The goals, I have always had goals. For me, what I realized was that a lot of my goals were about my job, and I didn't have a lot of personal goals. I wasn't looking personally to what I wanted, what Julie wanted. It was more what somebody else wanted for me, or what I needed to get ahead. Um, so that was a great opportunity for me to step back and really think about what was important to me and where I wanted to see myself in 5 years, 10 years, um, see my family. So that's one of the exercises I did was just like a vision exercise where I kind of meditated and thought about my ideal future, what it would look like in 10 years. And for example, one of the things that I saw myself as was a vegetarian. And I was a vegetarian for 6 years, a long time ago. And I felt great. And it just really aligned with my values. But, you know, getting pregnant, things happened. And I just kind of started being the omnivore again. Um, So realizing that that was something that was really important to me, I was writing that down as a goal every day. Um, and it became more and more easy to make choices that aligned with that goal because I was writing it every day. So for me, having the goal section in there, when I'm writing something every day, I'm focused on it. I'm thinking about it every morning, and then I go throughout my day doing the things I want to do, and just having that front of mind, having those goals front of mind, make it a lot easier for me to make choices that align with those goals, and helps me realize how important those goals are to me too. So I'm more likely to hold my boundaries when it comes to those things. And let's see, affirmation section. Oh, I love affirmations. That was something that, I was on board with right away. My high school volleyball coach, who was amazing, would have us do visualization and relaxation exercises during practice and then before each game. So we always wanted to act as if, we were the winning team, act as if, you are the best server, on the court. Um, so that, going from that, the visualization to an affirmation of, you kind of just say it in your head, right? I remember one of the things that I did not enjoy doing during practice was running. And we always had to run a mile for tryouts. And it was just a struggle. We were trying to get it in a certain time. And they actually gave us an affirmation and said that for those of us who are struggling, just repeat to ourselves over and over and over, I love to run the mile. I love to run the mile. So we were just repeating that and just changing that. And the beautiful thing is that, neuroplasticity, that could be a full separate conversation, right? Rewiring your brain to think a different way. It works. It works. So, I mean, I didn't become the fastest runner, but it got me through it, just repeating that to myself while I was running. So now today, I take the things that I have in my goal section and I use the affirmation section to write affirmations that support those goals or just support me in general, right? And they change. Yes, I'll write the same 5 affirmations for 5 months, and maybe something comes up and I'll change out one of them, or I will just think of one that fits better. Or if I'm listening to a book or a podcast or reading something, I might hear one that I'm like, oh, and I'll swap one out for that one. Yeah, just whatever. And I think that it's just so powerful to have really positive self-talk, to help you get to where you want to go, especially if it's a big climb, because some of those things, some of the goals I have are pretty big. And especially going back to the vegetarian, it is hard when you have a family that you're trying to accommodate that don't necessarily eat that way. But it became much easier when I realized how important it was to me. And my husband also realized how important it was to me because I was able to communicate that. And then, just all the blocks that I thought were there are gone. Just by practicing and changing my internal thoughts and processes, I was able to affect everything outside too. And then the habit tracker, it's a checklist, a visual checklist and reminder of the habits that you're trying to create. And I love habit stacking. And if I have my journaling practice that I'm already doing every day, and I want to I've actually added a tarot card pull every morning. So every morning while I'm journaling, now I'm pulling a tarot card as well. But that habit tracker, if I identify something that I want to add as a habit, I can write that down. And again, it's just telling your brain how important it is, putting it there in front of you visually on a list, and then I can check it off. So I get rewarded for doing it too.
This is great, Julie. I love this. And one of the things that I really love is this idea of your goals and then creating affirmations based upon those goals. I think that's really awesome. So often when we think of affirmations, we often may think of them as these like kind of big floaty intangible kinds of things that even sometimes other people hand to us and say, oh, say this affirmation, but we don't have attached to it the importance for our own personal life, and it's this kind of like high ideal that we want to aspire to, but by focusing on your goals first and creating affirmations off of that, Julie, I really like that, because that's making the affirmations much more tangible, much more immediate, and much more personal. I love this, Julie. I think this is great. Thank you for sharing this.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So, Julie, please, can you tell us about how journaling has helped you to weather some of the challenges of your life? You mentioned COVID and the importance of journaling on gratitude during that challenging time. But can you tell us more about how journaling has helped you through your life challenges?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, one of the first really big life challenges I had was going through a divorce. And journaling for me was just cathartic. It just helped me get all of those emotions out. And that's when it really turned from just a recording of daily events and thoughts about daily events to really like going deep and thinking about my thoughts and feelings and just getting it all out of my head. Because whether it's a really rough situation that I've gone through or a really inspired time period for me, because that's also a time when I will do a lot more just getting it all out of my head and writing it down. Um, but either way, and especially, when my sister passed away, that was, such losing my sister and best friend, the person that I would normally turn to share all those thoughts and feelings, was there. And you don't want to burden other people with those thoughts and feelings too, because they're suffering a loss. So just getting it all out on paper, and then letting it live there, not having to carry it around and hold on to it. I think just it just frees it for me anyways. It freed me from having to hold on to those thoughts and emotions. And and on the good times too, when I'm really inspired about something, I just kind of brain dump and journal and get it all out. And then I can go over it later and plan and actually make plans from all those great ideas that I have. Um, but yeah, just to be able to separate all the swirling thoughts from my brain so I can actually function. So I can function as a human and not just feel completely distracted by either good or bad, thoughts and emotions that I have.
Yeah. So it sounds to me almost as though, with that idea of distraction, that journaling almost in a sense helps you to reduce those distractions or to get them out of the way or to help you focus. Or, Julie, would you say that's the case?
100%. I would say that that's exactly the case. Yeah.
Great. And so during those times when, you find yourself journaling in that way, especially even during the challenging times, what does that look like for you, Julie? So, is it the kind of thing where you're doing that every day, for a certain amount of time? Are you doing it in a certain way? Like, can you tell us how it looks for you at those times?
Yeah. I think I don't ever set a time limit. I don't ever say I want to fill up, an X amount of pages or journal for X amount of time. It's really just usually, honestly, me on my bed with a notebook, with whatever journal that I'm writing in at that time. Sometimes I have a variety of them, whatever happens to be closest. Um, and I just write until it's gone, write until I have it all down. Um, and I may read back over it. I may not. I may just, once it's out and it's on paper, then I can release it.
And then, do you keep those journals? Do you later go back and read them? What do you do with your journals, Julie?
Do I have a tough time letting any of that go. So I do, which is why now I switch more to like a, an actual book version rather than just a spiral notebook. Um, but yeah, I do. I hold on to them, and occasionally I do read back over them. I know I um, have read back over journaling from when I met my husband, my current husband. And I laugh and giggle about some of the things that I thought and felt. Um, and it's just great to kind of reminisce and share with him, like, oh, this is what I thought when we first met. um which we can both giggle about it, but I mean, here we are, gosh, probably 16 years later, and being able to enjoy how I felt when we first met.
Oh, I love that, Julie. That is really fun. And really too, like what a gift to have that experience to go back to and to talk about and remember. So that's really lovely, Julie. Thanks for that. Great.
A little embarrassing, but yes.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I do have all of my past journals. And sometimes I'll go back and read them and I'll read my thoughts and I'll be like, what are you thinking? Like, can't you see this?
Right. Hindsight is 2020. Isn't that what they say?
I know. Or I'll, read about like an ex-girlfriend and I'll be like, oh my gosh, will you dump her already? What are you doing? Why are you still together? So yeah, I definitely.
Yeah, well, you know what? I guess there's a benefit there too. You can look back on your history and see how you felt in certain situations and maybe decide what to do now based on how those things turned out.
Yes, as a matter of fact, Julie, I have done that where I've come to a point in my life where it's like, oh, okay, I'm going through this right now. I remember when I had an experience that was similar to this back at this point in my life. Let me go try to find my journals from that time to see what I thought then and to see how I handled things then. And yes, that's such a great point, Julie. I have found insight in those that has actually helped me with later situations in my life. So that's nothing that I'd ever really thought of as a benefit to keeping your journals, but I guess it has been.
Yeah, that's really powerful to be able to go back and kind of revisit where you were,
Yeah.
learn from your history.
Yes, yes. So, Julie, what does your journaling practice look like today? We know that you journal every day with the In the Zone journal.
Right.
Are there any other ways that you are journaling? And we have an idea that that happens in the morning for you, but can you tell us like the specifics of it? What does your journaling practice look like now?
Right. Yeah, thank you. Right today, currently what I'm doing, I typically will do my journaling while I'm drinking my coffee. So I'll make my coffee in the morning and have some quiet time. My family knows that I'm like, I'm going to journal, guys. So I take my coffee, and if it's a nice day out, sometimes I sit outside. And if it's, either too hot or too cold, I have my own little space in my house. And yeah, I kind of make a ritual of it and just make it my morning time. I will light some candles or some incense, maybe diffuse some essential oils, and I'll do my journaling while, sit down, do my journaling. I do a tarot card pull, and now I also do some self Reiki and meditation, and just make that just a whole little experience for me in the morning. And um, yeah, it's just a great way to start my day. And I have realized how much more prepared I am to face whatever comes at me the rest of the day when I've taken care of myself in the morning. So whatever, things happen. It's been summer, the kids get crazy. But I am a better wife, a better mom, a better version of myself when I've taken that time to journal and to really go deep into like what I'm grateful for. Because sometimes it is those crazy moments with the kids that I am grateful for, and I might be grateful for having been able to handle, a situation um, as well as I could have the previous day. So that reflection really, really helps empower me to be the me that I want to be.
Yes, Julie, this is great. So it sounds to me as though you really, almost in a sense, I'll use the word ritualize your journal writing. It sounds like you've got it, very structured and very, ritualized with the oils, the incense, the tarot card pull, and the coffee, the whole process of that. Can you talk to us about that ritual aspect? And even, have you always done it that way, or did you purposefully develop it that way, or did it just kind of organically happen that it became such a ritual in that way?
Well, I think that it goes along with habits and how I have learned how to add new habits into my daily routine. So coffee is something that I've always had every morning, and even at the times where I'm trying not to drink coffee, I'll still have some tea, or at the very least, a glass of water. And I just turned that coffee time into me time. And as I have found more things that I want to tack on to, my daily habits, that time has been my kind of sacred time to do those things. And a lot of it is, kind of more of a spiritual exploration and nurturing my mind and spirit. Because a lot of times I'll actually do it after I've already gone for a walk or a run. So I'll do that walk or run, come home, and then do the coffee. Um, but that's kind of how it has developed for me, is I just know that habit stacking works for me. So as I've learned new things, like Reiki is a new practice for me. So in looking for how to establish a habit of self Reiki, that was what was easiest for me. I already have my coffee and my journaling in the morning. I'm already sitting down, so I can just add that self Reiki onto that time period. And same thing with meditation. Taking some days, depending on what I'm doing afterwards, I might not have a 10 or 15 minutes to meditate. It might be 2 or 3 minutes. Um, but that's when I've been able to kind of bundle all those habits together. And it has turned into a bit of a ritual that I really, really look forward to every morning. And like I said, this morning, first day of school, so I'm going to be able to take that time later in the day and have that time for myself. So I'm still nurturing myself. So later today, when they get home, I can be just as excited as I was this morning.
Yes, wonderful. And Julie, you had mentioned a little bit ago about the benefits that you've really noticed some real benefit to having this structured daily time for yourself to journal. Can you tell us a little bit more about those benefits that you've noticed in your own life?
Sure. Yeah. I think that reducing my stress and it has been the biggest benefit. Um, the cortisol that we create every day in our bodies is really damaging, and it's damages our sleep patterns. It's damaging when especially women like me who are 40 and over, can tend to struggle with gaining weight, and it's all because of the stress that we're facing every day. So being able to lower my, or just have a way to combat the stress that I'm facing. I can't prevent stress from coming at me. Well, to some extent, we can change our habits, right? Change our patterns, change what we're doing. But there's still things that are going to be stressful throughout the day. So taking the time to meditate in the morning, journal in the morning, do all those things that I've added to my ritual, um, really helps me handle the stress better. Um, Helps me be being in a habit of gratitude also helps me handle stress and sleep better. And when the things do come up that aren't great, I'm in a better position to handle those things. Um, and my gosh, I know for a fact, just going to the doctor over the course of the past couple of years, my blood pressure is better now. Um, Being able to journal and focus on changing some of um, my workout habits, my exercise habits, and my eating habits. I am healthier. Like the blood work that I get back now is much better. Just and it's all those little tiny things that you can do every day. So that little tiny habit of writing that goal that I'm a vegetarian every day, And I actually changed that to, as it evolved, as I was like, cool, I got this. I'm a vegetarian. Now my new goal, I'm going to be open up and be vulnerable. My new goal is that I'm a plant-based athlete. So that's kind of all encompassing, right? I'm saying that I am an athlete. I am going to be doing things that athletes do, like work out, like add strength. And I'm plant-based. I want to make sure that I'm not just eating French fries every day. Which, do I eat French fries? I do love French fries. But not every day. I want my meals to be, plant-based, whole food meals as much as I can. Um, it's progress, not perfection. It's a journey. Um, so yeah, that's one of the benefits, is just like being able to set a goal and then work daily toward that goal. Keep it front of mind. So, oh, so many benefits. I could go on all day.
These
But I
are
think really I feel so much better health wise, emotionally, and that is so beneficial to my family too. And that's the people that I care about are so important to me. So it's for all of us. It's been great.
Yeah, these are amazing benefits, Julie. Thank you for sharing them with us. I mean, things like improved blood work and lowered stress, and those are some really big benefits. Now, of course, it's not just the journaling, because there's lots of other stuff you're doing too, but journaling, it sounds like, really has been really helpful and beneficial for you in all kinds of ways in your life. So that's really great. I love it, Julie. Thanks for sharing all of that with us. That's pretty powerful.
It is. It is. It really, I mean, it's just those one little thing, the 5 minutes that I'm taking in the morning to just kind of point myself in the direction that I really want to be heading, right? So first of all, figuring out what direction I want to be heading, but then using the journal as a tool to really like motivate myself to move forward in the direction that I want to be going, has been incredibly powerful.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you. And I really love what you said about it's about progress, not perfection.
Oh, for
And
sure.
it's not something that, if you miss a day, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to be doing it perfectly every day, but maybe what's more important than doing it every single day is that habit of consistency with it.
Right, right. That's one of the Atomic Habits is a book that I read recently, which is phenomenal. And that's like, what is the trend? Is the trend that you're, doing it more, or is the trend that you're doing it less? So as long as my trend is that I'm doing it, daily-ish, um, then it's working for me.
Yes. Beautiful. Julie, thank you so much. So, Julie, do you have any advice, tips, thoughts for someone who is interested in starting a journaling practice, or who maybe journals every once in a while, but they might be interested in journaling more because they want to improve their blood work and lower their stress? What are some thoughts, advice that you might have for those people listening?
Yeah, I think that you really have to experiment and figure out what works best for you. And if that's the In the Zone journal, then great. I think that is a great place to start because it's easy and it's quick. And those are two things that make it possible to start a habit. And maybe you could start with something like that and then build from that based on what works for you. If you want to spend more time journaling, yeah, do that. Grab a notebook. I mean, really, that's all you got to do. Go to the store, find some pretty pens, and find a notebook that you're going to want to write in every day. Um, and then take it from there. Do what feels right. Add journaling onto something that you already do every day. If you're already sitting down doing something every day, maybe you spend some time watching a couple shows at night with your family. There's nothing to say. I mean, everything has ads now, right? Almost everything has ads. So during those ads, during the first ad break, maybe journal a couple sentences or how your day went or a couple things you're grateful for. Start small and then build on it from there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Julie. That is awesome. So, final questions. Is there anything else that you would like to add? And how can people get in touch with you and even learn more about, or maybe even get their own In the Zone journal?
Yeah, great. Probably one of the easiest ways to get in touch with me is on Instagram. That is the social media network that I tend to be involved with the most. And I am at Growth in Action on Instagram. I'm also at In the Zone Journal on Instagram. And from there, you can go to my link tree on either of those accounts, and you can visit my website, which is growthinactioncoaching.com. You're welcome to follow me as well. I'm Julie Almond on all social media. Yeah, I would love to connect with anybody that's looking to start a practice, is currently, has a journaling practice. Currently for September, what I'm offering through my Growth in Action coaching is an affirmation Reiki session. So if you want to get started and start creating an affirmation, what we'll do there is have like a mini coaching session where we talk about what your big goal is at the moment, and we'll develop an affirmation that supports that. And then we can either do distance Reiki or in-person Reiki if you're near the Buffalo area. And so you can meditate on that affirmation while receiving Reiki and just really kind of absorb that. And then you have it, and then you can keep using that affirmation, writing it or saying it. But that's, just a fun little September offering that I have right now. I think that's the if you find me on Instagram, that's the easiest way to get in touch. And then I do mindset coaching for athletes. I have a Jump into Action coaching program that I'm going to be starting again in October for group coaching. Just helping anyone that feels worn out, just learn how to nurture their mind, body, and spirit so they can shine again.
Beautiful, Julie. Thank you so much, and I love the Reiki affirmations pairing. What a great thing to do. I love it. That's all beautiful, and we'll have all of your links down below so that people can just click and find you quickly and easily. So thank you, Julie, so very much for chatting with us along the path on journaling. Such an honor to have you. Thank you.
Oh, Christian, thank you so much. It has been wonderful to meet you and chat with you.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening and walking the 7-way path with us, sending blessings and best wishes for your journey. Thank you. Gratitude. Thanks for tuning in to this chat along the path. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for walking the path. Blessings and best wishes for your journey. Journaling, ritual, silence.